Welcome back to talknorth.com. Thank you for listening. If you can, please download before you listen. It helps our business. I'd also like to thank our producer, Brandon Morton, and let you know if you'd like to sponsor this program or any of the programs on the network, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. talknorth.com is powered by Bite Squad. Go to bitesquad.com or download their app. Get food to your door in minutes. Use the promo code TALKNORTH to get your first delivery free. Talk North gets you your first delivery free. Welcome back to the Viking Update Show with Tim Yotter. I'm Jim Souhan. We are live at Twill in the Edina Galleria. We've told you about Twill for a long time now. Scott Dayton has been sponsoring this program and the Russo Souhan Show for quite a while, and we like to come out and visit Scott, visit the shop. I was here a couple weekends ago, and well, you can tell, Scott can tell I was here a couple weekends ago because my wife bought a lot of stuff, and I'm wearing about half of it right now, including, I gotta pull this thing off. Hold on.
You're finally looking good too. That's what's amazing.
That's why, some clothing stores might want to have a male model sponsor them, but this is a much greater challenge. Scott has made me look good, relatively speaking, and that's hard to do. That's much more of a feather in his cap. And the reason I took my hat off is because I'm wearing a Storm System cap, and it's got the cool pull down ear warmers, so it looks like just a nice classy. I don't know what cap, baseball cap. But if you're, when I walk the dog and it turns out to be colder than I expect, I pull down the ear flaps. It's really nice. I'm wearing Brax pants that are incredibly comfortable. I'm wearing a Stenstrom shirt. I was here for the trunk show on Saturday, and they had a great deal, buy 3 get 1 free. So I'm wearing my freebie, and the others are they're beautiful shirts. And Tim, you know me. I've always been just a sports writer who wears golf shirts or whatever else. And coming here has changed my perspective on clothes because now I come in here, I buy something and I go, okay, I'm going to have that the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just throw it out next Wednesday because it got a stain on it. I wear nice clothes. My wife is very happy with me.
First time in a while, I suppose.
Well,
happy with the way you dress anyway.
Well, good point. Yeah, I should be more specific about that. She's tolerant of me and happy with the way I'm dressing. How about that?
And she's done a great job of picking it out for you. I don't know if she lays it out for you in the morning too.
When I'm lucky.
This is what you're wearing from Twill today.
When I'm lucky, yes.
Tuesdays, Twill.
Yes, and actually I just put this on because it was waiting for me here. I wore my Peter Millar shirt on the way in. That was become my favorite casual shirt. Let's talk some football. Then we're going to have Scott come on and talk about his shop. Also want to tell you about a deal with Bite Squad this weekend. Friday through Sunday night, kind of highlighting the Wild game and the Vikings game. Use Wild 2018 to get 10% off your bitesquad.com order. Go to bitesquad.com, use the app. Thanks to WhizKids.tech, Mississippi Pub, Beaver Island Brewing, fixologyrepair.com, and Tony Hoaglund, your State Farm agent in Champlin. Let's talk a little football, though. You want to do some mid-season awards. I think this is the perfect time to do it, and then we're going to break down the Vikings-Bears matchup and this crucial stretch that is coming up.
Yeah, I think if you look at offensive MVP, you could probably go a couple ways with that. My choice, however, would be Kirk Cousins. I think because of the makeup of this team, the offensive line struggling to get things in order, especially early in the season, Cousins has handled the pressure unbelievably well. He is the most pressured quarterback in the NFL, and he has one of the best ratings, the best completion percentage when he's pressured. I just think he's done a great job there. Fumbling has been a bit of an issue. I think you can criticize him a bit for that, but overall, I think Kirk Cousins is my offensive MVP. I don't know if you have anybody different that you would choose.
Really, the only person I could throw in there that would be competitive with Cousins for that award would be Thielen.
Yep.
And Thielen's been phenomenal, and it's tough to separate the quarterback from his best receiver.
Right.
I give Cousins a lot of credit because I think he's withstood a lot of pressure. He has made big plays. He's been incredibly accurate. He has gotten the ball down the field even while under pressure. And really, his only terrible game was the game that they just didn't show up against Buffalo, which probably had something to do with the Everson Griffin saga. So I guess just to be slightly different, I'll take Thielen. As good as Cousins has been, I don't know where he would be if he didn't have Thielen just getting open and catching everything thrown his way.
What's kind of amazing to me is how much those two have become kind of joined at the hip for their offensive success. And when you talked to Kirk Cousins before, last week before their bye, he was talking about it, kind of heading into the bye, taking a look back at what's happened in the first half of the season, if you will, through 9 games. And he said, coming out of training camp, I was kind of concerned because we hadn't gotten Adam Thielen the ball as much as I wanted to kind of get a feel for what he does. And now all of a sudden things have exploded. He is, before last week, he was leading the NFL in receptions. He's now tied for the NFL lead in receptions with Michael Thomas down in New Orleans. Those two, for Cousins coming in as a free agent, for Thielen joining up with John DeFilippo and a new offense, a new scheme, a new way of calling plays, all of that. For those two to come together and do what they've done through 9 games has been really impressive to me.
No question. Defensive MVP.
I think I'm going to go Danielle Hunter here. He's been that consistent pass rusher. Linval's been fairly good this season so far. Harrison Smith, I think you could make a case for him. But overall, I think without Danielle Hunter and the pressure he's been able to apply on quarterbacks, I'd be hard-pressed to go with anybody else but him for my defensive MVP.
Agree, and to emphasize the point, he also was excellent even when Everson Griffin was out and people could double-team Danielle Hunter. I think he's easily the defensive MVP of the team.
And he showed some versatility, moving from one side to the other when Everson was there. And now really either of them could switch sides and kind of set up a matchup against an offensive tackle however they want. So, having both of them back and having Everson Griffin back to what he has been could be just huge for this team as they look to make a playoff push.
We have 3 more categories we want to get to in this segment. Most entertaining game.
For my money, despite being a guy who generally doesn't go, I have to see a ton of offense to be entertained by a game. I can be very entertained by a 10-6 game if it's a well-played defensive game. But I still was most entertained by the Rams game. Just both teams shooting back and forth, all the matchup possibilities that were out there. Despite the Vikings losing that one 38-31 in a tremendously high-scoring game, to me that was the most entertaining game of the year. Just because, you had Jared Goff, who I wasn't sure how good he's going to be this year compared to what he did last year. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to decipher the Vikings defense. And a lot of the entertainment value for me has to do with certain matchups, and I was really intrigued to see what's Sean McVay going to do against the Vikings defense. How are they going to match up defensively against the Vikings offense? All of that intrigued me, and ultimately, McVay just found a way to make Todd Gurley the superstar that he usually is, even against the Vikings defense.
Let's get to best win and worst loss next, but let's invite Scott Dayton, the owner of Twill, into the conversation very briefly. Scott is obviously a big Viking fan, a big Wild fan, big Minnesota sports fan, and he owns this place, and one of the cool things about it is he's got this nice TV over underneath the Stenstrom display. There's usually a game on. It's just such a relaxed place to come. We always come in, we just end up talking with Scott, and then Stacy gets the credit card out, and we go crazy. But it's nice, like I said, I love wearing these clothes.
She's in charge of the card, by the way.
Yes, well, there's a reason. There's a reason you're happy about that. I'm happy about it. I mean, she has good taste, and she's forced me to have good taste. And coming here is a good place to come when your wife has good taste. Tell me about the history of this place. I know you've told the Russo Souhan show audience about it. This is a slightly different audience. Tell us about just how long you've been here and about your kind of roots in the community.
Born and raised in Minneapolis. Was here until high school and college and left for a few years and came back, but always knew I was going to be back, and basically always knew I wanted to have my own clothing store at some point. Obviously, there's quite a bit of retail in my family history, but my parents had a specialty women's store when I was growing up, and I kind of fell in love with the whole specialty store atmosphere, and always knew I wanted my own store. So I opened in actually 14 years ago.
Wow.
Which is amazing. July of 2004 we opened, and I don't know. I'd like to think we keep getting better at what we're doing. But it's just been a really fun. The gallery is a wonderful place to be. And the brands that I have in here and the customers that I keep. It's fun when someone like you comes in and has maybe not really known much about the store, and the more time you spend in here and the more I can show you and see, the more comfortable you become and see the cool brands that we have. And as you preach a lot on the air for me, it's a very relaxed place to be. And I say often we sell shorts and T-shirts and all the way up to custom suits and everything in between. So it's really a one-stop shop for men. We do a full head-to-toe lifestyle offering in here from, if you need suits and sport coats to dress up, or you want to just do, casual pants like what you're wearing today. So, it's really been fun.
Yeah, I put out a tweet about the show tonight on LinkedIn. Didn't put a tweet. I put a post on LinkedIn, and somebody immediately shot back, said, "Hey, love Scott Dayton, and I love the Johnny O." So I think you introduced me to the Johnny O line, which is my favorite casual line. I also have that Peter Millar shirt that I wore in here before I put on the Stenstroms. But you've introduced me some really cool clothing.
Now I realized, you've got a couple new brands on for you now, which has been great. So
Brax and Stenstroms, and now I have some nice dress shirts. I was desperate for just a decent dress shirt, and now I have some of those Stenstrom dress shirts. They're beautiful.
We've had really long histories with a lot of our brands in here. We basically, introduced the Twin Cities to the brand Peter Millar, and now we're a Peter Millar crown shop, and we have an unbelievable selection of that great brand. And Johnny O and Vineyard Vines, prior to them having a store, there's just a bunch of brands we've been able to introduce to this market, and it's kind of a family of vendors that we're able to offer everybody. So it's been really fun.
I've also bought Barber from you, and I've bought Saks from you.
Yeah,
which I like
that's
a lot.
about everything.
And my wife has decided that I have a nice sport coat in my future, and maybe some nicer shoes in my future. So
all right,
we'll be back.
Yeah, I like the way that you described it to me, kind of that classy, dressy, but not over the top fashion. And I can see that now that I'm in here. Everything is like, boy, I wonder that would look pretty neat. It's just there are so many different ways to go with looks, but they're all classy. I mean, I there's nothing here that I wouldn't consider wearing, I guess is the way to put it.
That's nice to hear.
So I could see, in other words, we could see Kirk Cousins dressing himself here. I'm not sure that Cam Newton would dress himself here.
That's the guy I always think of.
We could do pieces for Cam.
You could do pieces.
Hats, his hat collection, I can't help him with that.
It's hard to help him. I don't think he needs help with that.
I think he's got that covered.
Socks would be one thing that you'd be able to put them in, right?
I think we have fun socks. Yeah, but to answer, to respond to what you were saying, Tim, that's timeless is the word we use a lot. It's kind of a timeless clothing offering. We're not super trendy, super fast. We do take advantage of the trends that are happening in the marketplace, but it's you're going to be able to wear these clothes for a long time. And but no, I've been honored to sponsor the podcast with you guys and the Russo as well, and I've been with you guys a long time. You've been a great supporter of the store, so thank you for everything.
No, thank you. We appreciate it. Hey, you're on the air. You have a Viking question, or you want to rip Tim for his coverage of the team? Anything you want to do?
Should. Yes.
I don't know. I don't want to rip Tim for anything.
Do you have a question? Do you have a question?
I
like
don't.
Maybe an insider question?
I think the bye week came at a very good time.
Yeah.
I really, I was at the Detroit game. I'm happy and proud and honored to be a season ticket holder. So cool. I don't miss many games. But the Detroit game, speaking of what wasn't a very high offensive game, but to see that kind of defensive performance from everybody was incredible. But it just was so clear that we need to get healthy.
Yes.
For this home stretch and this push, and as important as the next 4 games are that we've been talking about.
Yeah, as a guy that's around the team a lot and has been for many years, you kind of get tired of the questioning of, is the bye coming at a good time? I mean, that's a question that comes up every year. Man, this year it's absolutely true because of how beat up they are, and I think they should be close to full strength as far as at least the players that are available to them. Now, some of them certainly aren't going to be close to 100%, but at least good enough to be out there on the field. So it should be good over the next month where they're facing a really tough schedule to have a lot of those quality players back.
Thanks. Anything else you want to add, Scott, about the shop?
The
or
only
any
question I had.
Yeah.
So obviously we've got. No. I'll ask that question later.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll address it.
we'll have you back on to wrap up the show. We
Thanks
appreciate
very
you
much
having
for
us
being
out.
here. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for doing it.